All right, welcome back to Market Day Report. I'm Scott Shellady, otherwise known as the Cow Guy. The black and white jacket usually gives that away. Sometimes it's Gateway Computers. They're out of business, though. And then how about, Chick-fil-A? Anyway, before I take up too much of your time, let's take a look at that corn table. We started higher today, and we ended up melting away, but now we're back to sharply unchanged in that March contract, 647. So we've kind of gone around the block a little bit here. We're still higher in May by half a cent, 2 ticks. That's 646 and a quarter. How about beans? Soybeans were up 16, 17 cents earlier this morning. They're sharply unchanged as well. Boy, if you just would have gotten out of bed right now, you'd think there's not a lot going on. But boy, just take a look at those ranges, right? We've got a 30-cent range again in March beans, up a quarter cent, 15.87 and 3/4. May's up a half cent at 15.91 and 3/4. I got to take a quick peek at what's going on in the soybean new crop beans. That one is down still 3 1/4 cents to 14.52 1/4, but boy, 14.50 is not bad going. How about wheat? Let's take a look at the Chicago wheat. What's that look like here? Chicago wheat's up 13 cents. March is at 7.93 and a half, 6 cents off the highs. May is at 13 1/4 cents higher. That would be 7.99 and a half last. So trying to get an 8 in front of that one. How about the hard red wheat in Kansas City? What's that look like? Up 11 cents, double-digit gains there. 8.19 even as last, 6.5 cents off the highs. 11.5 cents higher in that May to 8.23 and a half. How about spring wheat in Minneapolis? What's Minneapolis got for us here today? Up, but not as much. 1 1/4 cents higher in that March contract to 9.53 1/4, while May is up 3.5 cents to 9.53 3/4. And then lastly, take a quick peek at the cotton before we bring in our analyst. It's 20 points lower at 121.71. All right, let's bring in Steve Wagner. He's with CHS. Thanks for joining the show, Steve. I just rattled off a bunch of numbers. Anything really stick out at you that you'd like to address?
Yeah, the thing that sticks out in my mind, Scott, is crude oil down $1.50 a barrel, bean oil down 40 points, and bean meal off $1. These beans have a really heavy lift with the tide going against them. That's strong.
Yeah, I mean, we had an expiration yesterday in crude oil, and the thing kind of melted down in front of us. That's where we got that 90 printout earlier overnight. And we had come back, and it's still above that 92 level right now. But you're right. I mean, there is a headwind there for those beans. It's been interesting, just to maybe take a little bit of a tangent here. For the first, I don't know, maybe the last part of December and into January, we talked about maybe beans gaining acres because of what the cost of inputs would be for corn, right? We're going to be some switching from corn to beans, corn to wheat, corn to cotton, depending on where you are. And everybody's worried about beans selling off. But boy, oh boy, ever since they put out that recommendation, it's just gone right against them. And we've really seen these beans really hard. Obviously, it's down the South America weather, but still, it's interesting to see how that's just gone 100% against all those calls that we would think beans were going to be selling off because of more acres.
Yeah, it is not a corn versus beans acre thing. The corn belt is the corn belt. Corn is king. They'll plant those corn acres. I obviously can't bring that with a guarantee, but I think the farmer puts those acres in the dirt. The challenge, the contest is how many spring wheat acres are converted to beans versus how many spring wheat acres go in. And so that's a north issue, a northern issue rather than a corn belt issue.
We've seen the estimates about South America, obviously 133 the last time around, but then 125, 122. Are you plumbing the depths with some of those private estimates?
No, I can't buy into the crash and burn. Obviously, the crop has gotten smaller and may get smaller still, but the reality is there's a crop down there. And while the crop might get down to 125, maybe even sub 125, we're not running out of soybeans.
All right. Stay right there. That's good stuff. We're going to go away, pay some bills, come back and talk with Steve Wagner about livestock after these messages.